What's up, guys? How are we doing today? I hope you guys are having a good day. This sort of impromptu video, not really impromptu, it was something that I wanted to talk about, and more of just a general informational, the reason why I'm going with unlimited weapons. And it is kind of prompted today by one of you guys saying, you are saving on markup but losing tons on not maxing the weapon. You are not even close to be maxed on that Karma pistol. Now, that was Euros Mensin or Menkin. Yeah, you're not wrong, man. And he's not wrong. I'm not maxed out on the Karma Killer, but I'm not losing tons, as one might think. And I can understand why one might think that you would be losing tons. Generally, with most weapons, if you're not maxed out on a weapon, you're doing far less damage. Like, far less total damage. Not total damage, but far less. You have far less of a max damage potential. So let's go with... let's quickly grab, say, a LR... Come on, there's got to be a large LR... let's go with this LR 105, right? So if we look at this LR 105... And this is why efficiency shouldn't be the first thing you look at. It should be a factor, but shouldn't be a first thing. The things that you should look at the most is attacks per minute and your max damage potential, right? So if you're not maxed out on the weapon, your max damage potential will be this number here, right? You also want to look at the range and hit and all that sort of stuff, but you want to look at your total attacks per minute and your maximum damage potential. Now, we already know that L weapons don't work the same as unlimited weapons for most of the, for 90% of the time, right? So even though I am not, I am nowhere near maxed out for this weapon, right? And it shows as an L weapon that I'm going to do fuck all damage. I'm pretty much never going to hit anything. My range is less. My attacks per minute is less than half because I'm shit at using the weapon. It shows, right? It shows. And if I was to buy this, it would be a colossal waste of money because I'll never fucking hit anything, and my damage potential for this weapon, for the amount of, cost, is nothing, right? Therefore, I could not hunt the creatures that are indicative of this level of weapon, right? However, if we were to then look at the Karma Killer, which has a 1 tier increase rate, in the high, above 150. I'm actually really happy that I snagged this one. Recommended level is 100, right? But this is where unlimited weapons differ from limited weapons in their being maxed out. My attacks per minute is maxed out, right? My maximum damage potential is maxed out. And the difference between the minimum in the damage intervals is not that big of a deal for me personally. I've lost a little bit of range, but it's not that big of a deal for me personally because I'm going to be using this close quarters anyway. My hit and critical ability are just above half, right? Are just above half. Available with your skills. Hit ability also depends on the choice of enemy and is not the actual hit percentage. This is something you also need to look at. Hit ability. Note, hit ability also depends on the choice of enemy and is not the actual hit percentage. So this hit ability is not the actual percentage. The percentage chance to hit comes from the enemy's defensive abilities. So their dodge, their evade, depending on what weapon you're using. So if you're using, say, a melee weapon, I think that's dodge? No, I think it's evade. And if you're using a gun, then it's up to their dodge ability. They will have set parameters, just like they have set amount of health, set amount of damage, maximum damage, their critical hit ability. They'll have the same stuff as you as a player. Otherwise, if it's a random number, you could have a puny critical hit an Uber and take all their life. So there needs to be a cap. And certain monsters will have a certain cap for certain things. Right? So the ability to hit, say, like today with the Argos, I hardly ever missed, which I found really interesting. I hardly missed, even though it was, my hit ability is 50% of its maximum potential for this. But that comes down to the level of the enemy. Now, this weapon for me is perfect for me to take down those level 5 Argos and creatures that are between level 5 and level 10. Generally. For me, this weapon is perfect for that because of the speed and the damage output and all that sort of stuff. So now that we've kind of gotten out of the way that the differences is not as big as people might think. So you're not losing as much as someone would think just because you're not maxed out. Let's look at the cost effectiveness of having an unlimited weapon. An unlimited weapon that is not... Okay, and this is something that should be pointed out. Let's have a quick look at the unlimiteds. Let's look at the Zora HK. This has a recommended level of 42. So even though I'm closer, if we come and look, the effect, like the damage, the range, the hit ability, the attacks per minute, it reacts and acts the same as a limited weapon. Right? It acts the same as a limited weapon. So make sure you keep an eye on that. When you buy an unlimited weapon, one, you should see if you're at least above 5 in critical hit ability. I know it doesn't, like it said, it's all about, the creatures stuff, but you should still try to keep that above 5, in my humblest of opinions. So that is something you still need to look at when buying an unlimited weapon. But let's look at the cost effectiveness of having an unlimited weapon versus a limited weapon. So we're going to go with something that's of equivalent damage per second, which I think the LR25 is very similar, if not the same equivalency, right? So let's look at the initial cost. So you buy an LR25, and its average price is here. So you buy an LR25 for 114.55% markup. So it costs you 55. It costs you 63 PED to buy, but the gun itself, the TT value is only 55. And this is something else to keep in mind. The loot return doesn't calculate the markup spent on a weapon. Okay? It doesn't calculate the markup spent on a weapon. It only calculates the decay of the weapon. The decay of the weapon is the only thing that goes into the total loot gained. The calculations for the total loot gained. So, initially, and this is the thing, initially, buying something like the Karma Killer, which cost me 300, no, this one cost me, I think it cost me about 350 PED, right? So let's start off with that flat 350 PED compared to an LR25. Of course, the LR25 is cheaper. But of course, you don't get the markup back. So you can almost consider, unless of course you get a global or something like that, you can consider the markup lost. But this is where things get interesting, right? Let's say I go through an LR25 each day, which I can do. In about 2 hours, I can run through an LR25 easy. So let's grab the base value, which is 55. And let's say that I'm going to use an LR25 every day, right? But we still need to count for the markup. So let's say it stays consistent at 14.55. So we grab 63 times 28 for, 4 weeks. So that will come out to 1,764. So let's just mark that down. So 1,764. So we'll mark that down, right? I've written that down just so people know. I've got it off screen over this side. But, okay, so in that first month, that is the cost of the weapons. Now, let's say we're going to be spending 55 PED each day to repair our Karma Killer. Just 55 PED each day, that's our budget. We don't put it up to 99, we put it up to 55. So let's say we already got the initial 55 from the 350 that we spent on it. So we will then go, what was it, 55 times 27 plus 350. Because the 350 will be flat, right? That will come out to 1,835. So 1,835. And even though, obviously, that is more, you got to remember the original, like the original number before we added on the initial cost was, let's just go for the 28. Would be 1,540 PED per month. Alright? So let's look at that, shall we? So you have the initial stuff. So let's look at this from an entire year's standpoint. Let's say for the entire year you only use LR25s, right? One LR25 every day. So 1,764 times, shit, what is that? Times 12. So 12 months in a year, sure, why not? That comes out to 21,168 PED in total. Now, let's grab the initial cost. Like, let's grab the, just throwing in the 55 PED repair onto the Karma Killer. So we'll times that by 28. And times that by 12. That comes out to 18,480. And of course we need to add in the initial 300. It comes out to like far less. I'm just going to write this down just so we can actually quantify. So we got 18,780 in total cost by the end of the year for the Karma Killer. And an LR25 has a total cost by the end of the year of 21,168. So then we minus the 18,780. In a year, you're spending an extra 2,388 PED. So if you were to get a Karma Killer instead of an LR25, you would be set, or any weapon with equivalent damage per second, right? And of course, you should keep the efficiency above 55%, obviously. And of course, if I could find a pistol with similar qualities with a higher efficiency, I would have gotten that one instead. But I am saving $2,388 or 2,388 PED. So why would I decide to use an LR20? Why would I use a limited weapon and have that little bit extra maxed out in something that in reality doesn't matter as much as you think it might? when I can, like, why would I spend that extra 2,388 PED to do that when I could just get this and, you know, maybe sacrifice a little bit of range, a little bit of minimum damage. I've globaled with this weapon. In fact, I was using this earlier on today, and I came back with an extra, like, 64 PED. It doesn't affect things as much as you might think it does. And this is a blanket statement for everyone. So, my recommendation, if you want to save money in the long run, find an unlimited weapon that, if you can find one with a higher tier like I did, go for it. Actually, I encourage it. But if you can find an unlimited weapon that's doing like maximum damage potential, you know, that you want for the mobs that you're hunting, it's a great investment. You'll save PED in the long run. And that's just from doing some math, looking at a few things, and just trying to break away from that eco-based mindset. You still need to be eco. I'm not going to get a gun that has an efficiency of 10%. But I will sacrifice an efficient, like, I would sacrifice the, 7% efficiency to save, you know, nearly 2,400 PED a year. Anyway, guys, I hope this has helped some people understand why I am getting unlimited weapons and why I am utilizing unlimited weapons instead of limited weapons. It's not as bad as you think. In fact, it's probably one of the better choices you can make. Of course, if you prefer limited weapons, get the limited weapons. If that's what you prefer, do that. But me personally, from looking at the numbers, testing out a few things statistic-wise, I've got a book full of statistics on returns over time and things like that I've been keeping track of ever since I started using unlimited weapons versus limited weapons. It's a lot. It's not as different as you think. So I have a high, like, just from what I've seen, I will have a higher potential of coming out on top if I use unlimited weapons rather than using limited weapons. Now, this is an investment into the future of me playing this game, not the here and now. In the here and now, if you just think about the here and now, sure, getting an LR25 for 63 PED is a better deal than getting a Karma Killer for 300 PED. But I'm not going to be buying a Karma Killer every day. I'm going to get it once and then repair it. So just I guess food for thought. So if you're like a pistol guy, look at getting a pistol. Even if you just get one unlimited weapon. If you're a rifle guy, get a rifle. If you're a melee guy, get a melee weapon. Well, guy or girl. So you don't have to invest in a bunch, but get at least one unlimited weapon that's around your level, or a weapon that you'll sit like around the level of a creature that you'll foresee hunting even if you're level 100. But I mean, by the time you're level 100, you'll probably be able to get an unlimited weapon and be quote-unquote maxed out on it anyway. I say quote-unquote because it doesn't really affect much from what I've seen. But anyway, that's it from me for today. Feel free to write in the comment section below whether you agree, whether you disagree. If you do disagree, feel free, and I encourage you to give me information, links, all that sort of stuff to articles that might say differently to what I've looked into and tested and all that sort of stuff. And I'll be more than happy to revise my way of thinking. But as it stands right now, I am more confident with going with unlimited weapons than I am with limited weapons, based on my research and based on my calculations and the testing that I've done. Anyway, guys, I hope this helped some people, and I hope now people understand why I'm getting unlimited weapons. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good day, and yeah, and I want to thank Euros for Euros. I want to thank him for like commenting, because it was a little bit of a prompt, so I can put this out there and go, this is why I'm doing it. So I do want to thank him for that. And I do appreciate all these sorts of comments. The comments that turn around and say, hey man, why are you doing this? I do appreciate those comments, because sometimes I'll look at it and go, good point. Why am I doing this? Or why am I not doing this? I do appreciate that. Like someone saying, hey man, when you're shooting, you should really back up so you don't spend as much on decay. And I would do that with certain limited armors, right? Unlimited armor, I'm not too fussed, because it adds to the total loot pool, like the total loot return. But with limited weapons, I definitely do stuff like that. Yeah, that's it for me for today, guys. You guys take care, and yes, this video is replacing the Binding of Isaac video. There will be a Binding of Isaac video out tomorrow. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.